Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Schaufs, and we're coming to you live from Washington, D.C. today. Thank you for joining us in a sponsored content webinar. We are joined by Josh Kramer and Matt Simonson of Unanet, who will be discussing the use of AI in the capture process. Josh and Matt, over to you.
Great, thank you very much, Jennifer. Really excited to be here. Today we're going to be going over how AI can help your capture process. Starting first with identifying how large language models have kind of taken the whole world by storm, not just for businesses who've done work with the government, but also we're going to touch on what purpose-built technology for government businesses can actually have an advantage over those large language models. So if you want to flip over, do a quick introduction of myself. Matt Simonson, I'm a senior product marketing manager here at Unanet. I've been with the company for about 2 years, specifically now attached to our new product that we actually launched 2 weeks ago called Unanet Growth Studio. Josh?
Yep, I'm Josh Kramer. I'm excited to be with you all today and talk with Matt about some of these things that we're going to be talking about here. 20 years in the GovCon sales and marketing space. I spend the bulk of my time on the customer success side of our growth products that we're going to be talking about here. Those are our Unanet emails. If you have any questions after, things like that, as well as a scan to our LinkedIns. We are both pretty active on there, so we'd love to connect with anyone attending this session. Real quick here, kind of expanding on what Matt said on what we're going to cover off today. First and foremost, really talk about kind of where AI is and kind of its role in the government contracting space, how organizations are using it, how you can use it, how organizations are using this technology to actually enhance their capture process, not just kind of chatting with it, but actually turning it into a step inside their workflow to help pick up efficiencies and effectiveness in what they're doing. And of course, how is the actual AI playing a role in that workflow? And then of course, talking about a few areas such as using generic LLMs that are out there. We're going to go through some exercises, show you what that looks like, how to use those to their best of their capability, and then really focus a large portion of the conversation on talking about purpose-built solutions for government contractors like all you folks that are here on the call here.
So we don't want to spend too much time looking backwards because 2025 was a doozy of a year between government shutdowns, contract cancellations. We don't need to mention the four-letter word, aka Doge. But as a government contractor, you're always expected to move forward. It's becoming increasingly hard talking to our customers who are looking to win more due to competition. Even in the face of changing regulations like the new federal acquisition regulation changes that hit recently, you're always expected to adapt better, really just get through those new compliance requirements and move forward. But you're also expected to manage spend. When margins are already kind of tight, you can't just go out and throw money at problems, even though that would be fantastic. Luckily, however, we have new solutions on the horizon that are actually available today, primarily expanding upon artificial intelligence. I know this has been kind of like a buzzword for the past 3 years. I think in 2025, we officially accepted that artificial intelligence is here. It's going to stay. The main question began as, can we use it for our capture process? And I think we saw a resounding yes between large language models like OpenAI and Anthropic to the DoD and FBI signing agreements with artificial intelligence. I think both agency and large language model providers are saying we're going to be here for the long haul and you should adopt it now just to take full benefit of it moving forward. So I'd say we're going to focus on 2 different types of solutions today. You guys are probably all familiar with the icons on the left. Those are the top generic large language models, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude. But we're also going to show you what a purpose-built solution looks like. Stuff that builds upon those foundation models and actually provides you with purpose-built capabilities for finding new opportunities, managing those opportunities, and writing proposals. So we're going to go from start to finish, starting with market intel all the way through proposal generation, showing you bits of tips and tricks of how to take advantage of those large language models, and then showing you what it looks like in a purpose-built solution. We're going to kick it off with looking at market intel. If you don't have a pipeline, you really don't have anything. We talk to our customers, and primarily in the small business realm, and ask them how much time do they spend looking for opportunities, and the average was around 10 to 20. They were still saying that they were seeing opportunities late, they were missing opportunities that they should have bid on, and they asked, what was the solution that you kind of ended up going to? And like I said before, it was basically throwing money at the problem. there are two options. The going rate for a business analyst, that's a full-time business analyst that you hire for your organization, is around 80 to 120,000. And then an outsourced business development contractor is a going rate of about 100 to 300 an hour. Now on the right, you just see, I guess, the most generic, I would say, of the federal award and opportunity sites where those people are going to be coming through. But obviously they're human and they're still going to miss them. So artificial intelligence, which Josh is going to show right here before jumping into purpose-built solution, is really there to scan those different award sites, identify which ones are good for you, and then suggest that you bid on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say kind of spanning across my career, I've spent most of it really evaluating opportunities that are out there, right? I've always kind of been in that smaller to mid-sized organization space where it's very much, all right, you know, we've been tracking the opportunity, something came out on our GSA schedule on sam.gov, God willing, not too many there. I definitely like to play the contract vehicle game that we are aware of, that we've been preparing for, but is it a good fit for me, right? And really kind of spending my time sitting down and reading the documents from the RFQ or RFP to the performance work statement or statement of work, all the attachments, and really trying to pull out the basic information, you know, kind of what's in here, is it what we expect it to be, is it something I can prepare for, to the more granular, what are the gotchas in here? What's going to throw my business off? What was I not prepared for that I thought was in here that differentiated from when I put an RFI response in or met the customer, all of the RFP or RFQ. So one of the cool things, one of the things that I've seen kind of be the most impactful is, as Matt already said, having that AI piece play a role in helping comb through those opportunities and really helping you figure out, is this a good fit for my business? So everyone here, I'm sure that's dialed in, has messed around with some type of kind of commercial level LLM, like a ChatGPT or Claude or whatever the case may be. So we're actually going to take you through an exercise. If you've got one of these tools, we're going to use ChatGPT, but it is applicable across the other tools that you use, to actually use that tool to help you first and foremost set up a kind of an environment. It's a GPT. I'll show you what that looks like, to help you kind of correlate your information, to really help you refine what you're evaluating opportunity against, kind of what are your core capabilities. Then we're going to talk about the processes and the prompts around uploading a solicitation, figuring out what the requirements are, and then of course making that judgment call. And again, someone who's spent kind of the bulk of their career doing a lot of this, I'm going to toggle over to what I'm looking at here. It's always been a big priority for me to make sure that I'm able to go through this information really quickly. Cool thing is AI helps a lot with this. So what you're seeing here on my screen is a view of ChatGPT. I like to use it for a lot of different things, but one of the kind of main things that I use it for is helping me evaluate opportunities when they come out. So in this case, I've set up what is called a GPT. If you're like, Josh, what is that? I don't know what it is. Frankly, folks, Matt taught me how to do it about 10 minutes before we did the first one of these about 6 months ago. It is very easy to set up. I won't go through all the ins and outs of it, but you can actually build your own GPT. If I clicked, go to GPT, I create my own, I can upload documents, I can really set up what I want it to look like to make sure that my baseline of information is grounded. The engine itself has a good understanding of what I do and what I'm looking for. So then that way, when I look at 3 or 4 opportunities in a day, it's not taking that 10 to 20 hours a week that Matt had mentioned. So for this session here, I've already got one set up. What I did was I actually loaded up my information ahead of time. I put in the information that I needed for my GPT. I gave it my capability statement. I gave it a lot of past performance information. So that way it could help me evaluate opportunities as I find them. So this morning, the fun thing with doing this pretty frequently with Matt is I've always got to find new opportunities to add in here. So I'm actually going to bring in an opportunity that I was looking at earlier in today to bring in things that would be most interested, and I'd say, okay, hey, I found an opportunity on my GSA schedule. Let's actually go through and evaluate if this opportunity is a great fit for me. Again, traditionally what I would do is I would load up the PDFs, I'd pull them out, and I'd start reading each document. Frankly, based on kind of the level of kind of time I had, I usually start with the RFP, RFQ. If I wasn't really prepared for it, I'd sit there and say, all right, let's find the gotchas quick in case I want to kind of kill this thing off quickly. Or if my pipeline is not where I want it to be and I want some of these stretch opportunities in there, I'll hop in and say, okay, why is this a good fit for me? But the cool thing with AI is, one, it's able to go through the documents a whole lot faster than I'm able to. So I don't want you guys to watch me type, so I put in a prompt here that says, please just give me a summary of the opportunity. What it's able to do in a matter of seconds is actually comb through and read those documents. This is great when it's not just 2 solicitation documents, it's 5, it's 7, it's 9. I think we had a customer who just got on board and they put their first opportunity in one of the solutions that we offer, and there was 18 documents in there that they had to push through and comb through. So AI is very good at combing through large pools of data like solicitation documents. And what I also like to do is always check it and make sure, hey, are you reading everything? Tell me where you've read it from, where you've pulled it from. So in this case, it gave me a readout of the opportunity. It gave me a good understanding of who's in there. Peraton's the incumbent. There is a woman-owned small business set aside. If any of you have been in capture for a long time, you're probably saying, wow, that's really shaped for somebody. But it really helps us understand what's actually inside that opportunity. Now from here, I don't just sit here and say, cool, this is enough. I kind of got the readout of the opportunity. I can put on a lot more prompting in here to help me figure out if this is a good fit for me. We're gonna talk more about prompting as we get to the proposal area here. But from here, I really want to not only just do a fit assessment, but I also want to understand, help me understand more about what that winning profile looks like. One, they've got to have some very specialized expertise. I see that. Obviously, they need to be a woman-owned small business, but taking a level deeper. And for those of us that have worked at very large systems integrators and are now kind of maybe medium or small size organizations, capture is always pared down, right? When you're at a very large systems integrator, you're doing these presentations monthly or quarterly about why you want to continue going after these opportunities. What are the things to be aware of? What's the risks? What are the benefits to go after? Think of this as a much faster fact finding and information pulling to help you really evaluate if this opportunity is a good fit for you as you present it back to your business. And again, regardless of the size of your business, I know we're all having these types of conversations, and this can help you a lot as you go through here. So again, it's pulling out a lot of things. I know my reuse material in there is for a very small business that is not as strong in this space, but what it's doing is not only reading that information, giving it back, but it's actually reading my material as well. How are you lining up against it? Your past material maybe isn't a perfect fit. And I always tell folks, even if you find an opportunity that maybe you've been tracking for that 9 months, that 18 months, the 2 years or whatever, definitely take the time to self-reflect on where you're best positioned for the opportunity. Meaning I would turn around and say, all right, where am I, on top of this, I really know what the profile looks like. I'm gonna put another prompt in there and really help myself understand where am I strong and where am I weak? And again, because I built that GPT with the baseline of knowledge, it's pulling from there. It's helping me able to do this type of analysis and chat back and forth with it to get the data points that I want. Now, preference-wise, I like to give it little bites at a time. So that way, when it gives me kind of a high-level overview of where I'm strong, as you can see, it's giving me kind of a good strong write-up. It's also, maybe I want a more detailed reasoning of why I'm weak. And why I do that is, of course, everyone's got happy years, right? Hey, I do ServiceNow work. This is a ServiceNow contract. I want to bid on it, right? We all know where that leads. If you're not aware of it, if you're not ahead of it, if you've not read the requirements, there's a lot of traps that could be in there for you if you're not prepared for that opportunity. So don't be shy in using a tool like this to not only get the details you need to go and have that conversation internally, also use it to do reflections on your business. Where am I strong? Where am I weak? What do I need to be aware of? And most importantly, let it play into the capture activities that you're going to do. Who should I partner with? What's the ideal profile? Things like that. You can do all that here in a tool like this. And again, as you guys saw, I turned this around very quickly in a matter of minutes. We're able to get a really good readout of, hey, is this a good fit? Is this not a good fit for me? And more importantly, I always want it to be defensible. I know folks are like, oh, AI, it makes stuff up. Sometimes it's not reliable, all of that. It is as reliable as you train it to be, meaning if you put the effort in to build that GPT the way it should be, putting the information in there and then asking those bite-sized questions and pieces to really help drive what you're looking to get and kind of drive the outcomes that you want, it's going to help you do that. So again, if you've got a ChatGPT or a similar type tool, you can easily set up these GPTs. I spend the whatever it is per month in order to get more of a premium version, in order to do that, to have a good knowledge base. But you as a user, anyone that's on this call can hop in and say, all right, well, I've lived Josh's life. I am tired of reading all these docs myself. I'm tired of spending the evenings, especially if I'm an owner operator, small growing business. I'm tired of reading through the ops to see if they're a good fit and getting tripped up, when I find one requirement after reading for an hour that it's actually not a good fit. That is where you want to deploy tools like this. And this is where folks are deploying those tools to make life really easy. So again, here's just a couple examples. I had the tool shred through the RFP, what was there, gave me a good readout of what a good profile of a vendor who would win this opportunity. And I did a gut check on myself. is this a good opportunity for me? Where am I strong? Where am I weak? And frankly, I continue on that journey many, many times with things like, who should I partner with? What's a good partner profile? Where do they complement me? Who's got the vehicles? You can do a lot of that work here. Now, we're going to talk about other things here, but I just want to cover that off for everyone here so you can see the ease of use to help AI help you evaluate opportunities and really save you a lot of time as you go through some of that upfront work of seeing if the opportunity is even a fit for your business before you put pen to paper, start doing capture activities and things like that.
Thanks, Josh. So a GPT is, of course, very useful, can read through documents much quicker than a human can. But when for doing it for market intel, there really are four things that really still keep the time investment and risk pretty high. The first is Josh already looked through his award site, his opportunity site, and he found the opportunity. There are ways to connect ChatGPT through an API to pull in different awards, but you're going to constantly have to manage those APIs. And you're not going to actually get every single opportunity that you should. You're only going to get the APIs of where you say to look. The second is we all have good days and bad days, and ChatGPT is incredibly prompt reliant. So Josh copy and pasted a couple of prompts into the solution, but some days maybe you just are kind of phoning in. I do it myself, and you give it an analysis. You say to analyze a opportunity in a certain way. And it actually gives you a wrong output. You end up chasing an opportunity that wasn't good for you. The third thing is that the data is never up to date. You constantly have to do data TLC. With ChatGPT, there is a limitation to the amount of files that you can upload to your GPT. We all know that there's a lot of different points that go into analyzing a good opportunity. So your people, your past performance, your past proposals, there's a lot of data that goes into it. And if you just keep it at a level of you kind of set and forget, you could be missing opportunities or chasing opportunities that aren't good for you. So we're going to jump over to what a purpose-built solution looks like now.
Yeah, so one of the things that kind of Unanet as a team we saw kind of from our customer base was absolutely as your ChatGPTs, your Claudes and all that were rising kind of and becoming more popular was, okay, cool, like now you guys have the secret sauce on prompting. As Matt said, you can do a lot with LLMs, the commercial kind of available tools that are out there, but you got to be really comfortable in prompting. I fortunately kind of started from day one. I was like, hey, I want to get really good at prompting. I want to figure it out. So when I copy and paste these things in there, people are like, wow, you're moving really fast. You're dumping stuff in there. It's a lot of trial and error. It took a lot of that. So what we wanted to do was say, okay, where can AI not only help in terms of providing insight or a chat response back to certain data points, but where can it actually work inside a normal business development or capture workflow to help organizations streamline that evaluation process without having to go in and put in 17 prompts like Josh had talked about or kind of showed off when I went through it. So what Unanet has built is really kind of that overlay of that, okay, this is a solution that needs to connect to all the other pieces, and here's what that looks like. So I'm actually going to toggle over here to show off some of that piece here. So there's really kind of three core components that AI plays a role in inside that opportunity lifecycle, right? Market intel, help me find the opportunity, help me understand if it's a good fit for me, what's the contracting paths, how do I prepare for that? How does that then connect to me actually performing capture on that? And then of course, what's my life cycle for building that proposal response and what does that look like? So inside a purpose-built solution for government contractors, you need a couple core components that we all know are really hard. First and foremost, as Matt had mentioned, is being able to pull that data in to a usable format that your organization can evaluate. Think of all the 15 to 20,000 opportunities that come out a day. How do you go through that noise and make sure, okay, of all these opportunities that are there, which ones are a good fit for me? The second piece is it's got to connect to things that aren't just SAM.gov, right? It's got to be able to look at my contract vehicles, shout out GSA for kind of consolidating as many vehicles as they can, but it's got to be able to look at those as well to really say, okay, whether it's a GSA eBuy opportunity or SAM.gov opportunity or SOUP 6, whatever the case may be, or SOUP 5, soon to be SOUP 6, whatever that may be, is this a good opportunity for me? All while still being able to pull those core elements that you've always been able to do inside of SAM.gov and things like that. So what Unanet did is we brought this all inside our market intel view, inside our purpose-built platform for this. So this might look and feel like, hey, Josh, I've seen kind of a table before of opportunities, but what we've done is we've layered on AI throughout all the elements. First and foremost, how do we sort through those 15 to 20,000 opportunities that we need to kind of get through to make sure these are good fits for us? So of course, we've all got that core component of, Josh, that's the NAICS, that's the PSC codes. That's fine. That's always been a great baseline for folks. But now AI can take it a step further. Much like the ChatGPT piece, inside purpose-built tools, especially like this one, you're able to come in and say, all right, I actually want to ground it in some knowledge about my business. I want to put in my past performance docs. I want to put in my capability statements. I want to give it a snapshot of what I've done and why I do it. And then from there, not only looking at my NAICS and PSC codes, but layering on this intel about my business as well. So that way, when the tool goes out and it looks at all the opportunities that are coming in from the various sources, it's going to give me a view of those opportunities that make the most sense for me. So inside our purpose-built solution, you're able to see and really configure any types of views that they want, right? Yes, I want the opportunities that are 100% my swim lane, but maybe I've hired someone that's going to just be targeting treasury with financial solutions. I want to also be able to look at that. So as you're looking at purpose-built solutions, you want to be able to have the control of what the engine's actually combing through and what the criteria is for finding good opportunities for your business. And then from there, once you've got that snapshot of opportunities that you're looking at, you still want the same basics and fundamentals, and I'll click on one here. So you still want that core information of when's it due, where's it coming from, and all that. That's always been inside government market intel platforms for government contractors. But now what you're also looking for is, as I did before, I had to prompt all this information. I had to have the engine go read the documents. I had to go do a comparison against my opportunity profile. What we've done is actually let the engine actually do the work. Not only is it identifying good fit opportunities, putting a fit criteria around them and a score, but that's also reading all the documents. And for those of us that have been in the big data world, this is something that tools have been trying to do since FPDS. You know, once people started to ingest information from FPDS to say, okay, are we keyword searching through these documents? What are we looking for? Now with AI, you're able to actually have engines run through and read those documents and pull out that summary information. So that way you're not only saying, hey, this is a good fit based on title, now I get this whole synopsis in here without me having to put in prompts or do extra analysis. It's all found inside a view like this. So again, I encourage everyone to be very comfortable with prompting and get familiar with it. But what we've seen is to be able to speed up and pick up efficiencies for orgs, these purpose-built solutions can not only help you sort through all the opportunities that are out there, both publicly available as well as on your contract vehicles, but also give you actionable summaries of that information that are in there as you decide to take it through the actual workflow of whatever you want to do with that. If that's, I want to add it to my pipeline, I want to begin capture activities, things like that. You as the user have full control over that. And in a purpose-built solution, when we say that, think workflow automation, time efficiencies. I don't have to do as much prompting as I normally would inside a ChatGPT or something like that.
Now, I know a lot of you are probably saying we're just doing a pitch of our own solution here, and that's right, we did. We're really proud of the solution we just built, but we want you all to do your due diligence and go out and explore the marketplace. When you're exploring different solutions to find different opportunities, there are three things that you should really be focused on. The first is what data is actually bringing in. So what award and opportunity sites are you scraping? We're gonna have to eliminate me jumping between different sites, setting up APIs, so I'm not missing any opportunity that might be a good fit for my business. The second is, am I working actually with the AI? There's a concept in artificial intelligence called human in the loop. A lot of people are scared that AI is just going to be running wild. I think injecting a user experience that allows humans to constantly check and modify AI output is the key to actually success in the artificial intelligence world. So focus on user experience where you're constantly able to evaluate the different awards that they're bringing in, say, I like this, I don't like that, and constantly manipulate the output to ensure it's the best for your business. And the last is kind of a derivative of the profiling and staying in the loop, is explainability. No one likes black box AI. So an AI that just surfaces insights and you should follow blindly isn't actually doing its job correctly. So with any sort of opportunity it brings in, there should be some sort of natural language, this is good because of X component to it. If it's not, then you're just gonna have to read the entire opportunity yourself, and then the time benefit just isn't there, and you're still working just as hard. So scraping, profiling, explainability. If you're gonna go out into the marketplace, focus on those 3. And if you do focus on those 3, the benefit is going to be pretty obvious. Earlier in the presentation, I referenced the $100 to $300 an hour for a business consultant, and the $80,000 to $120,000 for making a hire. We've seen that when people deploy AI for market intel, there's a 20% increase in pipeline and a 40% time reduction in looking for those opportunities to fill their pipeline, and that's at a fraction of the cost. The ROI is very apparent when you actually get a good solution in place.
So then we've already talked about kind of bringing that market intel piece and finding those opportunities, right? And of course, we touched on a high level. There's kind of different areas that you should look at. We're going to, cover those off as we go, but feel free to also drop questions in there. If you're like, hey, Josh, there's 10 tools out there. What should I be looking at? Which ones are going to fit the best for me? And again, I think it does tie back to what Matt had just said is, AI is going to plug into a lot of things, but it's really got to follow those 3 key areas, right? It's human in the loop, explainability. Is it going to kind of tie into my business process? And more importantly, is it going to connect to the rest of my ecosystem? We're going to talk about kind of point solutions versus integrated solutions here in a little bit, but I really want to talk about how are we going to actually, how organizations are actually taking and using AI on the upfront of market intel, but also bring it all the way through the actual capture process and the proposal response process for opportunities. For us, you can use AI through the entire life cycle, and we've seen that. We've had different use cases from different customers, and what we're going to do is actually really try to talk about those key elements there. Now, having spent the bulk of my career in here, and my assumption is there's a reason why a lot of you are on this, webinar is proposals aren't the most fun. Some of you might say they are, but I find them to be very time consuming in this marketplace. Compliance is so important. You find yourself caring about, is it Times New Roman versus is my narrative compelling? And it kind of competes for your time and attention as you're building a response on very shortened timelines. I think we can all agree these days. I watch RFPs come out with 5- and 7-day turns now, because they assume you're using AI tools to help speed those things up, but proposals in general take a very long time. Whether it's your RFI or your white paper, your source of thought, to the actual RFP, RFQ that you're building. Where AI can really kind of play a role, and we're going to talk about those key elements here, is a lot of these what I call kind of the unfun tasks inside the proposal lifecycle. Shredding those docs, going through them. There's a lot of time that goes into building out a compliance matrix or a compliant outline that helps build out your response. And of course, turning around and finding that reuse material. We all know we don't copy and paste. Some of us do, but the goal is to then rewrite that to the new requirement, right? And really be able to find the most applicable material to use to help build that, and of course, build out those drafts. So we all know it's a lot of time consuming, many times many folks involved, and there's a lot of efficiencies that can be picked up by deploying tools into that workflow. So I already mentioned kind of prompting up front, and we're going to do another ChatGPT exercise here in a minute. But when it comes to prompting is pretty important when it comes to getting the results that you want. Now, I promise you, I think everyone, especially when tools rolled out, especially before workflow tools or purpose-built tools like ours were created, everyone was like, well, who's got the best 25 prompts? And I want a library of them. I want this information. That is very important to pull that information. But it's also important to understand how prompts come together and kind of what the build out and the expectation is when you put a prompt in there. I usually kind of find folks fall into 3 categories when it comes to AI prompting. 1, they want to put in one amazing prompt that covers everything and they want a perfect output. 2, they know it's going to take a little bit of work. They know that prompting is not perfect, but they want to learn it. Or 3, they're really afraid of putting anything in there because they're afraid that they're not going to get the output they want. They're going to waste a bunch of time. So we're going to talk about here in the next couple slides is actually using prompting and some techniques that you can use. If this is your first time hopping in a tool, do it right after this call. You'll be able to use it right there. So we talk about prompting. Think about these are kind of the commands that I'm giving the engine to help me get the output that I want. That retrieval augmented generation that you see on the left-hand side. Find that relevant information, feed it into the model, and help me generate what I'm looking for in terms of a response. And I have to be mindful about what you ask it and the structure that you build there. Inside of here, what you want is not to just give it some, hey, write me a 20-page proposal that's going to cover me off. Or in this case, write me a super sweet proposal using my library. This isn't going to get you where you want. And if you hope that that's the case, or you're saying, Josh, I already do this right now, I'm sure your proposals are in the pool of 98% of these all look the same. Why am I not winning? Contracting officers say, yeah, response volumes through the roof. The challenge is 98% of those proposals all look the same. So, excuse me, find a better cold here. So inside of here, you want to make sure that not only are you given the prompts that you need, but making sure that it's following the structure that you want it to as well. All right, so context within prompting. So inside of prompting, there's really kind of three pieces that you can weave in there to get the output that you want. Sorry, hopefully my cough is gone. All right, so inside of here, there's really kind of two elements that I actually prefer and I love to talk about is first building out that context window for the engine to understand what you're talking about and what you're including. Meaning, before I write and say, hey, write me a write-up for implementing ServiceNow, right? I want to first give it the context and the understanding of the actual customer. I'm writing this to DHS or CBP more specifically. They're in the OIT office. I want to write to the capabilities that they're looking for. I want to talk about my expertise. So giving it the context of here's the customer, here's the problem they're trying to solve for, usually with feeding it the SOW or the PWS, and then here's what I want to do is a great foundation for building a strong prompt. Do I want to go in there and give it 47 things smashed together as one prompt? No, I want to feed it different pieces that is going to help the engine understand what am I trying to do, what's the background of the ask, and what's the overall task you're trying to get me to do. And that really sits on that left-hand side is, here's the context, here's what I'm trying to do, here's the outcome that I want. I tell everyone, of course you can walk in and say, give me a 20-page proposal, I want it right now, and have it generate that. It'll fill 20 pages for you. But are you gonna love it? Most likely not. So take the time up front to really ground it in the context in which it's supposed to be helping you with, and then get really granular on the output, the things like on the right. Maybe I want it to be structured a certain way. I only want to cover off a certain amount of paragraphs, a certain amount of sections. Maybe I want to write in a very technical tone. I think when AI rolled out, we saw the word robust in every single answer and bullet points everywhere, and people are like, this is AI, this is terrible. You as the user, when it comes to prompting, have control of that. I want this in a very technical tone. I want to read to this type of audience in the eval board. You can include that inside your prompting. And of course, what kind of space allocation do I want to give to this response? So this might seem like a lot, but many times I tell folks, these are little bite-sized pieces that you can put in prompts, just like I did before on the market intel piece. We're gonna do it here on the proposal side as well, but giving it that context and getting the output and then refining that output with the things you see on the right-hand side, you're really gonna like the output that you're looking at, and you're gonna be able to evaluate it and really get a good gauge on if it is responding the way that you want it to. And I tell folks, the ones that typically tend to get the best output or the output that they're ready to put into a draft and show off on a pink team or a red team, wherever the case may be, are the ones that are the most critical of whatever AI is putting out. Sure, you wrote me 17 paragraphs. Is this a good 17 paragraphs? And then turning that back around and whatever feedback they have, whether it's positive or negative, pumping that right back in the form of prompts, so that way the engine can then action on that based on the information that you give it. So there's also prompting techniques outside of just the contextual ones or kind of the formatting. There's things that you see here on the screen here, whether it's zero shot versus few shot, chain of thought, persona-based, things like that. I'd say I'm a big fan of chain of thought. I really like to teach the engine, say, hey, this is the customer I'm responding to, this is the PWS, this is my reuse information. Why I do that is probably because I got started early with AI when it used to make things up. It used to be a really big challenge. And it gave me the opportunity to kind of audit trail back to where things went off the rails. And I could turn around and say, all right, let me re-pick it up here and fix these things. But I love to do persona-based, especially for eval boards. I've done a proposal, I've run a compliance check on it, and I turn around and say, all right, put yourself in the program manager's shoes. Put yourself in the end user's shoes. Evaluate this. Does my kind of narrative pop up and really stand out in terms of not only my technical expertise, but my understanding of the work that they're trying to do? So I tell folks, you're going to save a lot of time in here. Focus that into actually winning and using a lot of these techniques that you see here on the screen as well. Now, what I use, again, we're going to do a ChatGPT exercise here as well. What I do many times is, what folks use LLMs for is to do a lot of that, again, kind of the unfun things we talked about in terms of time saving. Go through the CLNM, right? Tell me all the requirements, the instructions, things like that. Help me understand the things that are most applicable to those key areas there that I have to pull out and be mindful of and maybe put in a compliance spreadsheet. Understand that, kind of we're mapping content. Where do I want to map my reuse content to the material that I'm writing to now? And then of course, help me generate that outline and compliance matrix. Selfishly, folks, I like to make a compliant outline. I don't love working in Excel spreadsheets when I'm writing content, but you can absolutely build compliance matrices inside these tools as well. And then of course, get to that pink team draft a whole lot faster for your organization. So what we want to talk about here is let's hop into the actual view of using ChatGPT to help build proposal responses. So inside of here, I've already got teed up. I didn't want you guys to have to watch the tool, read through those docs again. They're the exact same ones I already read through in terms of the market intel piece. So those are the two that I found this morning. Again, pair it on with a woman-owned small business. That is an absolutely shaped opportunity. But maybe I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to bid on this thing. I don't care. I'm just going to go after it, and that's not a big deal, right? So what I did was give me that kind of readout of what's inside of there, give me that assessment of what's in there, and maybe I said, hey, I'm a woman-owned small business. I'm working with someone just like Paraton. I'm gonna go after this thing. This is really where I like to turn ChatGPT into that. Help me build that outline and structure before I write the content. And probably first and foremost is after I detail what the summary is, that I'm like, all right, well, let's get in the nitty-gritty of what needs to be submitted in terms of a proposal. So is there certain volumes I need to address? What are those volumes? What's included in there? I do it, yes, for myself, of course, so it can read through that information and give me an output, and I can say, cool, it's 3 volumes. But I also do it for kind of that back to that kind of RAG piece of like, okay, I want the most recent information that you have in here to be applicable to this and pull from this. I want you to read from this information and pull it forward. So inside of here, this is actually a kind of a, not just a check for me to say, okay, I need to submit, these volumes here. This is what I need to include in these volumes. It's actually going to give me a check on other things that I need to be mindful of like, hey, it's just 2 volumes, it's pricing as well. But I also like to tell the engine, all right, well, now that we're grounded in, what's in the solicitation, what I need to respond to, you need to build these volumes out in a certain way. Now I can start to strategically attack those specific volumes and have it structure and build out the response that I want. So yes, you can see on the screen here that, my biggest volume that I have to respond to is volume 1 right here. Yes, it gave me an outline, but I'm going to have it take it a step further and say, give me an outline for a technical volume. Be very mindful of, evaluation criteria as you design it. And why I do that is, again, it's little pieces of teaching the engine of what I want to do in this task. Did I set up a kind of a baseline of material before we hopped on this? Absolutely. So that way I don't have to feed it all my documents, but maybe you're like, hey, Josh, I'm just getting this set up. Inside this projects area, inside of ChatGPT, you're actually able to upload a series of documents that you can use when you go to build out that proposal response. So I've got that as my baseline of knowledge, and now I actually want to design and build out this response. So inside of here, rather than just headers, what it's doing is it's actually helping me build out my response and the key components that are in there to help me, okay, as I look at my Word document, and typically what I'll do, folks, is I'll pull this up on the left-hand side, I'll pull the Word doc on the right-hand side, and I say, cool. I like this outline. Here's the pieces that I'm going to keep. Here's the ones that I'm going to transfer over as I go to write my content. So I'll pull these pieces over and I'll say, all right, well, now I know what's inside of here. This is what they're going to cover off. These are the main pieces. I always love to have it mapped back to the PWS for me so I can be really confident about what's inside of there. And when I do my compliance check, I can do a bunch of audit checks to make sure things aren't missed. And then I actually start to build out my content. Now you might say, Josh, well, it makes sense. You start at 1, you work your way down. We all know in proposal world, you want to write your lower level header sections first before you actually build out your response. So I actually skip the exec summary and I save it for last. And I'll come in here and say, all right, well, 1, I want you to show off that I really understand this. So I'll say, please help me write this section. And actually, I'm not actually going to start on the 2. I'm going to start right here. And what it's going to do is it's going to say, all right, well, now that I got the baseline of understanding, I'm going to go back and do exactly what you're telling me just for that 1 section. Does engines like this say, Josh, just give me the whole write-up? I can write all the 2.1 on the 2.2, absolutely. But the challenge with that is if you give it too much to write at one time, and it goes past kind of its time block window of being able to help, it's going to start simplifying things and making things more summarized than you'd like, where you'd like kind of a more detailing. That's not a bad thing. When you go and do your review, maybe you drop this into your proposal and you're like, hey, I'm at 10 pages. I could do 20. I want to max out my pages. Absolutely, I encourage you to turn back around and say, okay, now I've got a full page of content. where do I go and change and improve things? How do I then attack all my content and make it better? Because truly, as you can see here, I've just written a lot of sections here. There's a lot of bullet points. Absolutely, I don't love that. That's not a very good narrative. It doesn't really show off kind of what we're doing. But I do want to actually start to write those specific areas. So I might copy and paste this in the Word doc to kind of say, all right, let me write all the sections first and then break it down. But then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to audit trail back, bring that information back in when I'm done, and start to have it rewrite and get more technical and focus on those things. So think of those kind of formatting and tone and style and structure that you want in here. And I can literally put that right back in here and say, please write this in a more technical tone and in a style that shows we are experts in this field. Now, obviously, that's a high level one, but again, because you're going to pick up so much efficiencies and be able to generate the content, always be very critical of what you get on the output. But as you can see, you can do anything you want. You can build the outline, bring it into your Word doc, build the content, bring it in your Word doc, come back, you have full control over that, and you can take it that level deeper on the tone, style, and structure and things like that inside of here as well. And again, this is just a few of them. Matt and I love to talk about this stuff. We will cover off more of this as we go, but also feel free to always reach out to us if you want to discuss some of these things also.
So just like for market intel, there are some glaring weaknesses with relying on a large language model to write your proposal. The first is there is no standardized workflow. It's just a chat interface that you're going to be required to really run and manage each section appropriately. ChatGPT does come with limitations. If there's a certain section and a certain block that is just too big outside of that time block window, as Josh said, it will just stop writing, which could mean a missed requirement. So having a dedicated workflow is huge. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about market intel, is it's still prompt reliant. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but a couple months back, the CTO of OpenAI actually showed you what a good prompt looks like. He was just trying to like make dinner, and his prompt was pretty much like 3 paragraphs, and that was just to make dinner. So if you guys expect to like go into ChatGPT and get the best output possible by simply writing 2 sentences, you're not going to get the best output, and it's going to be some generic AI speak, which is just going to fall into the, oh, another proposal using ChatGPT. The last one is project TLC and unreliable output. Again, your files that you upload is going to dictate the output. You're going to constantly have to make sure that you have the best files in there for the best output. And even when you do have the correct files, the good prompts, you really have to measure that output, because sometimes it overemphasizes irrelevant information, because ChatGPT will look at current files more closely than it will files uploaded previously. So I always equate it to like when you're getting a sundae, it's going to focus on the sprinkles because it was put in most recently, when you really want just the ice cream. So when you look at a purpose-built solution, there are a few things that you want to make sure that are in there. But we're going to focus first on a demonstration of Growth Studio, and then we're going to move into some evaluation criteria.
Yep, and real quick, as we go through here, you know, we all know that AI generates content, right? It's very good at helping you generate content and go through that, but where it plugs into your workflow is really where a lot of those time savings also show up. So I hop right back in our Growth Studio demo here, and maybe I found an opportunity that I like and I added the pipeline. So what I want to show you all is how to take this from that pipeline piece to actually building out that proposal response and doing more than just generating content. Doing a lot of that kind of automated prompting to do the unfun tasks, to shred and build the outline and things like that inside a tool like this, so that way you can focus on just the improving of the content and building that response. So if I add this to the pipeline, it would take me to our opportunities view here. I'm going to land on our Kanban view and grab one of these that I know already has a proposal in it. And I just come in here and say, all right, well, I've got this opportunity for DOT that I want to go after. It's going to pull in all my market intel stuff. So I've always got that context window. If any one of my teammates hops in and says, all right, kind of where are we at? I'll plug in to really connect and say, okay, like what activities have we performed against it? Have we met the customer? Who have we talked to? And of course, what are all the supporting details inside my capture plan, like the documents that are associated, who are the contacts that I'm talking to, things like that, to make sure that I'm building out my capture plan and my approach to the proposal the way I want it to. But inside a purpose-built solution, all of these pieces come together, meaning your market intel and finding that opportunity tie into what am I actually doing against the opportunity? Who am I partnering against, or partnering with? Who am I competing against? Who are my contacts that I need to have regular cadences with, whether it's about pricing or maybe it's about pitching a new solution to the government, things like that. You want a view that's going to have all that in one place, or then you have segmented chats and GPTs that are trying to figure out these answers that at some point you're going to have to compile together. But inside a purpose-built solution, it's all going to land in a view that looks like this. That's going to let you actually help you actually build and start a proposal. So in this, I'm not going to start, I've already got one done, but it's really important to always have, as Matt had said, all the information, all the context from what you found that opportunity to have, all the way to that proposal lifecycle, to make sure there's never a miss of information, a miss of details, all in one view and easy for a user to have. So I already built a proposal here. So inside of here, what it does is, inside of the Growth Studio solution, it does a lot of those unfun tasks along the top here. So tagging, think shred. I uploaded 17 documents. I think this one had a massive amount of documents. I brought it in here in a couple minutes. It shred out everything that was in there. It told me what's, in terms of requirements, what's there, submission instructions, what's there, what evaluation criteria is there. I can chat with it. Help me understand, what requirements might be conflicting that I could ask the government for clarification on, or things that I should watch out for. I'm really using that first step of the workflow of AI, do the work, put in the prompts that are going to shred through the RFP for me, but then still keep me in control with the human loop piece to evaluate this as I'm building out my proposal plan. And then from there, how do I differentiate from my competition? This is where all those activities that you did in that opportunity, maybe you've had this in the queue for a few months, now come into play. How do we stand out from our customer? How do we look different than other organizations? Let's talk about our overarching approach to winning this thing. That's what you're going to do here. And in this step, what the AI is going to do is it's going to go read all that solicitation again from step one. It's going to come in here and say, all right, well, what are the key things that are going to separate company A from company B? I'm going to pull them up in the form of questions. And I'm going to read your entire library and pull forward the best practice answer that you guys have, where then you can then tailor and improve. Because I'm going to use this information to inform my actual written content. So think value prop, win themes, differentiators. You're going to detail that here, and the AI is going to do the bulk of the work, reading the solicitation, pulling the information forward, helping give you a baseline to start with. So that way, when you go to actually write the content, it's not just going to be compliant content, it's going to be compelling and stand out from your competition. And then probably the one I like the best is the outlining step. This used to take me multiple hours. I was always very nervous about missing steps in the outline, all of that. Inside of here, a user gets full control of building the outline. The platform's going to build an outline based on how it reads the solicitation. So it's going to say, here's exactly what's needed. Here's what needs to be included in that information. Again, the engine's doing that work. You refill your cup of coffee, it takes a couple minutes. It's going to pop out the answer that you see here, but we're never going to take the human out of it. We want you to be able to come in and say, all right, well, I like this, but I want to do something different. I want to get more granular. I want to change things like that. You as the user have full control over that. And it's not just headers. Every one of these pieces opens up. You have full control to then actually design the content like a human normally would before the engine goes and writes all those specific sections. So whenever every single header, again, the platform's doing the work here. It's going to give you the header. It's going to tell you, here's all the requirements I pulled forward from the solicitation. Here's what we need to address in terms of submission criteria, eval criteria, and most importantly, here's what I'm going to learn from. Because we all know if you don't give it something to learn from, the AI is going to look and feel like AI. It's going to be high level. It's going to be compliant. What's unique about our solution is when you bring in that information, it's not just reading past documents that you had. It actually parses and breaks down the specific sections in those documents, the tables, the graphics, all of that, and prepares that for reuse material or material that the engine's going to learn from when it goes to help you write those proposals. So in this case, it actually gives you a little snapshot of like, hey, this is the last piece I'm reading from. This is most applicable to here. I'm going to learn from these things as I go to write what I need to write up here. And of course, I need to address these compliance items that are in there. You can open those up, of course, see what those are. The engine's doing all that work, pulling all that forward, putting it in a workflow so that you can control it. And again, you as the user, full control over the prompting, over the structure, over the references that it used. But think of this as, because it's a purpose-built solution, you don't have to prompt and say, okay, let me break down this specific software upgrades and licensing, what's included in there. It's already done that for you. You then can refine and perfect and focus on the winning pieces. And then it's going to take you through the compliance elements, pulling everything that's relevant, telling you where it got it from specifically, so that you don't have to hunt back and forth inside docs, and tell you where you actually addressed it inside your proposal response. And then most important piece is actually writing the proposal for you. I tell folks the biggest proposal we've seen so far from clients is about 250 pages, and it is prompt after prompt after prompt in a workflow where you don't have to come in and say, well, write me this section, write me 1.1, write me 1.2, things like that. It's going to just continuously read the outline step, pull from the compliance step, keep the knowledge of these 2 steps as it goes through each step to write those sections for you and build you out that proposal draft. So again, the goal of purpose-built solutions is, one, first and foremost, to be able to tell you exactly what market you're in and understand what you're doing, right? Generic's fine, and we're going to talk about that here in a sec, but it's really important to have, context inside the platform that you're using to help not only kind of build that context window for all the workflow involved, but be able to pull the most relevant material forward to use as a baseline to help write to the new requirements that's most relevant, all inside a purpose-built tool like this. I'm going to toggle back here.
So ChatGPT, it's great. I use it every single day. But when it comes to proposals, massive solicitations that you need to read through and identify requirements, and then actually answer those requirements in the most efficient way and best way possible to produce a compelling and compliant proposal, you really want to make sure a solution has the following. The first is dedicated workflow. You see that we've incorporated a 5-step workflow all the way from shred to compliance matrix and then generating an outline. This just makes it easier for you to guide the AI through the process, but also for the process to guide you. The second is an understanding. Has the solution been trained on what a good proposal looks like? ChatGPT, Claude, they're trained on large amounts of data. They can handle just pretty much any task you throw at it, but government proposals and government solicitations, there is some nuance to them, which is why you all exist as proposal managers and BD folks. Understanding that there are certain outputs and trainings that goes into producing a proper proposal should be there in all AI solutions. And the last is something that we've hit on every single time. It's human in the loop. Throughout the entire process, do I have the chance to say, AI, you've done this wrong, I want to change this here? But then also, does AI kind of lift up some of the burden like Josh showed in our solutioning step, where it's going to automatically generate some prompts for you, which you then can easily manipulate and then write your own prompts as well. So I would say stick to these 3 when you're evaluating a proposal solution outside of ChatGPT, and I think you'll be in good shape. Historically, we've been selling a proposal solution for a while now. What we've seen from our customers is that they're able to hit a faster pick team draft, about 70% faster than traditional methods, which actually increases bids around 30%. And that's not just like a copy and paste bid. We're throwing darts through the wind to just submit more work. That's 30% tailored without reducing quality submissions. So AI definitely has a benefit within proposals. We kind of covered it slightly here in the demo where you saw the Kanban view, but obviously there's a lot that happens in between identifying a opportunity and submitting a proposal. Historically, I think we've lived in the Salesforce world for the past 20 years, where people think in order to win new business, you need to adopt a CRM. As a government contractor, I think that's not a straightforward approach. So if you're trying to win more business, literally just looking for better ways to find opportunities and write more proposals, a CRM solution isn't going to do that for you. Obviously, there's a bunch of plug-and plays that are available with Microsoft and Salesforce, but those also come with 6-figure implementation costs and licensing fees, which if you're talking about ROI, it's just not going to give you the benefit that you're looking for. However, if you're a larger government contractor and say you have multiple business units, multiple teams, and you need to set up some workflows and do some complex reporting or connect into an ERP system, then maybe a CRM is the right thing for you. I would just say don't run to the Salesforces and the Microsofts, and look for an organization that has the ability to bring in opportunities, write proposals, and provides you with a good amount of task management capabilities to manage your relationships, and you should be in good shape.
So real quick, I know we covered off kind of this quickly as we kind of talked through things. So there's kind of 2 buckets that solutions sit in when it comes to supporting the capture lifecycle. First is that point solutions that Matt already talked about. Having a tool that can help you find opportunities and shred through them, super critical, right? And I think over time we've seen a lot more tools pop up there. So having those opportunities, or having those tools that can help you find those opportunities, is really important to be able to pull that feed of information correctly and accurately so you can action, obviously very critical. There are challenges with that. Sometimes you are missing the full picture, right? Especially if you look into capture tools or just a CRM tool or just a proposal tool without the market intel, you can start to miss some of those key things. And just kind of, it's that the knowledge is going to sit with one or two folks in your organization that know where all these point solutions connect. Of course, when it comes to kind of managing opportunities, always being able to look back, where did this opportunity come from? Have there been any updates on it as you continue to run capture and say, all right, well, which partners do I want? Are these still the partners that I want, knowing what I know now about this opportunity and things like that? Being able to find those things can be challenging sometimes with point solutions, because it's always, that context window is not as complete as it needs to be. And then of course, having spent my time on the proposal side, I am always looking back into what opportunities I'm tracking, the updates on those opportunity pages. We actually had one customer today who was like, yeah, this is due the 16th. And I was like, oh, SAM.gov says the 18th. And we had no idea how SAM.gov had two different answers for us. So you always want that context. You don't want to miss that window of that information. So as you're looking at these tools, be mindful of that when you're looking at point solutions. And of course, we're definitely going to plug the more integrated solution, the better for organizations. And again, you might be in different facets of growth in your business, so they might not be as mature as other ones, but always look at solutions that fit this kind of ecosystem you see here. Finding opportunities and be able to feeding it into the people that are actually going to action the opportunities, and then taking the action from the opportunities and be able to feed that back into the proposals, all while keeping that same context window, helps you hit those things that you see on the bottom of the screen, saving you time for finding the opportunities, not missing things that are in your wheelhouse. You can focus more on actionable activities with your partners or the potential customer, and of course getting more good fit proposals out there, not just volume, but ones that can help you win as an organization. Really it plays well when you have those integrated solutions in place.
So I really appreciate you all who stuck on us this long for an hour. I hope you guys learned something. If anything, I know AI is scary to a lot of people. I think obviously you will see some jobs that will be replaced due to automated tasks, but I think in the future is actually more of an AI and human workforce working in tandem rather than AI specifically taking over. So when you're looking at solutions, make sure AI isn't running wild, and they really approach AI and human output to kind of like an in tandem workforce. Second, market intel capture and proposals must be connected. I think you're going to spend a lot of time doing rework or checking if data still holds true throughout the process. If your solutions are all connected, you're just going to automatically be able to run with things much quicker, increasing the amount of high quality drafts and then submitting those bids. And I think the last thing is that the integration allows you to be one person across the entire capture lifecycle. It allows a business development person to not only be a market intel specialist, but also a proposal specialist. So incorporating integrated AI will actually scale growth while keeping your headcount relatively the same. Because if you're not getting the ROI out of your solutions, then what's the point of implementing them? Josh is very active on LinkedIn, so please give him a follow. He's always a hoot, posting his little memes and stuff. But we're going to be doing a lot of web series throughout the year on AI and GovCon Capture. Give us a follow, and please reach out with any questions.
Thank you guys so much, Josh and Matt. It was fantastic to have you with us. I enjoyed the presentation. I learned a little bit, and I hope that everybody did as well. We'll have the recording over to anyone that registered within the next 24 to 48 hours. And thanks again to Josh and Matt and the team at Unanet.